Welcome, friends, to this educational series where we would be introducing students to field techniques that would be presented by people who have long experience in exploration geology. Our today's guest is Dr. Vivek Lal. Dr. Vivek Lal is an exploration geologist with 18 years of experience in mineral industry for valuation of mineral assets at early exploration stage and during development stage. He has rich exploration project management experience, both client and consultancy background, working experience in mining projects internationally, and understanding of project economics. He is a competent person for minerals and metal exploration and resource evaluation. Dr. Vivek Lal lives in Jaipur and runs Vivek Consultancy Services. Welcome, Vivek.
Uh, Good morning, all the viewers. Today, I am Dr. Vivek Lal, a independent exploration geologist, and I am going to present on some of the surface techniques which are commonly used for any type of mineral exploration, whether it is metal, non-metal, vein type of deposits, or whether it is base metal, precious metal, or even in non-metallic minerals. We use these surface techniques for carrying out exploration. The basic aim of this presentation is to expose the young students and all the people who want to know about the exploration, how we should initiate the exploration in any type of terrain, and we have to decide the technique based on the type of terrain available or type of terrain you are going to explore. So in general, first we will start with the desktop study. In desktop study, whatever maps, the historic literature, and the data available of that region, terrain, we should study. And along with that, we should study some remote sensing data of satellite imagery, which through satellite imagery, we can know the terrain, the topography, the type of mineralization we can interpret from through remote sensing data. Then after we have done this desktop studies, we will start the reconnaissance, the initial field traverses and initial sampling to pinpoint or to know whether there is any mineralization available in the area, or the type of mineralization you are interested in. So once you have done that, then we go to, and we found that there are some indications available for a specific type of mineralization you are looking for, and you have sampled and you got some good analysis from the lab. Then we go to do detailed geological mapping, especially of the mineralized region or mineralized area, which where we have got these indications, where we got these values. We will prepare a geological map uh, through maybe through GPS. Nowadays, GPS is very common, so we can use GPS, handheld GPS, and we can prepare a regional geological map of that mineralized area, and as well as whole of the area. So once we have done that, then simultaneously we can do the geochemical sampling. The geochemical sampling include, there are various type of sampling methods. The fastest is the grab sampling we can do along with the geological mapping. The grab sampling is the type of the mineralized, we can sample the mineralized areas, the mineralized samples we can take. And if we want to know really the extent, we can do channel sampling. We can prepare a channel across the strike of that mineralized area. 2 or 3 channels we can put, and we can sample at 1 meter interval, or we can also do 2 meter interval channel sampling, depending on the type of mineralization, depending on the variation available. We should do it. Soil and stream sediment sampling is good for those areas where there are very few outcrops, there is no exposure. So, and especially we are locating base metal and precious metals. So soil and stream sediment is the best way to know about the geochemical anomaly available in the area. And also, slightly we want to know little subsurface data, so we can go for pitting and trenching. Trenching is always done across the strike, and we can put a trench, and we can sample the floor of the trench. at regular interval, at the interval which we decide. This is the Google image map, and we have plotted the block which we were doing recognitory traverses and sampling in Sudan, in Nubian desert, and this work we had done for gold. So, and we have plotted all the traverses which are marked in red, and locations, GPS locations, and also marked the sample location. Mainly we sampled the quartz veins, the smoky quartz veins, and the gold was available in smoky quartz veins. Smoky quartz vein was within the granite terrain, granite to granodorite, the basic rock type, and which was superimposed by younger sandstone of Silurian age. This is the photograph of smoky quartz vein, and this quartz vein, smoky quartz vein is the means usually it contains the precious metal. So we have sampled this smoky quartz vein. This is in the same Sudan area. We have done at few locations random soil sampling where there was no outcrops, and we wanted to know some extent of the mineralized area. So we did some soil sampling, sieved. We took some field assistance, and we dug it around 30 centimeter hole and pit, and small hole pit, and then we sampled, we sieved the soil sample, and we packed that soil sample for analysis. This is an example, classic example. We have done channel sampling in, this is a photograph from Oman in 2009-10. I worked in Oman in ophiolite sequence, volcanic phosphate massive sulfide deposit. Oman ophiolite is very famous for that. And we have done in the alteration zone, we have done some channel sampling. You can see the channel, and white mark are the lines. We have sampled at 1 meter. We have marked the line, and we have sampled the 1 meter samples to know the what is the geochemical anomaly available in that area. This is a photograph from Sudan again. This is a quartz which has some grains of gold within it. These are some of the quartz, the gold grains within the quartz. This is some oxidized portion around that. So the most of the gold in Sudan is within the smoky quartz, which is within the Precambrian granite, soup, and also there are alluvial gold in that area. Many of the alluvial gold, small miners do alluvial gold mining also. This is a geological map prepared. I had worked in Oman recently for non-metallic mineral. So I had given the task to prepare the geological map for their lease. So I had done this geological mapping through regional traverses, and based on regional data and regional traverses, I had prepared a geological map for them. This is basically a dolomite limestone rich terrain. Limestone is of tertiary age, the dolomite is of Paleozoic age. So in the northern part, the Paleozoic rocks are there. As we go further south, the tertiary rocks are exposed. These limestones, this blue color, the sky blue color, is the tertiary one. This green color, the sky blue color, is the tertiary rocks. This is the fossiliferous fine-grained limestone. This is here we are the chalky limestone, and it has given CO values of more than 50%, 52, around 52, 51%. It has given CO, and at places the silica content is around 1%. At places it varies from more than 1 up to, it goes up to 3. So these type of high grade limestone can be used in even as to prepare a quick lime, hydrated lime. Even if the value is around 1%, we can use in steel industry as a flux. Like similar limestone in India is mined from Jaisalmer, and known as SMS grade limestone from the tertiary rocks. So they are using specifically for steel plants. Here in the northern part, these are the dolomites which are low silica dolomites and having MgO ranging from 16 to 20%, and CO around 30%. So these dolomites also can be used in even iron industry. It can be used in dolo lime preparation. It can be used in fodder industry. Many uses are there. At present, they are using only in aggregate and for construction materials. So I've generated some data uh, to know what more we can use there. This is a photograph from Zambia in 2011-12. I was working in Zambia for Jindal Steel and Power. We had small 4 square kilometer area of copper. So we had done some trenching program here. There was very few outcrops of oxidized rock, iron oxidized rock. And to know further extension of copper, we had put some trenches across the regional strike. And this is my colleague, Mr. Chauhan, and we are trying to put a trench. And we will, after construction of trench, we had sampled the floor of the trench, and we got some good values. Then we would test drill holes. We put it RC drill holes after that.
Look, there could be some questions from the students. Do you have some questions on there? I mean, there are few simple things that maybe I can ask.
Yes, sure.
What is the difference between grab samples and channel samples, and how do we collect both?
Grab sample generally we are grab sample when we are doing traverses or mapping simultaneously, where we are finding the indication. We break from the hammer and we take outcrop samples randomly, and that is not a systematic sampling. It is just to know the indications, values of that particular mineralization you are interested in. So, and in channel sampling, we have recorded after mapping, you have recorded the strike and dip of the area. And across the strike, we systematically, wherever there is indication in grab sample, we put a channel across the strike. And at every 1 meter, or even in some places, if the terrain is uniform, you can take a 2 meter sample in the floor of the channel, and we analyze that 2 meter. We can know the grade variation of that mineralization by putting the channel. It is, you can do with one field assistant, you can do manually, no by just chisel or cheeser. You can prepare a channel depending on the terrain, whether it is a hard rock, soft rock, what kind of terrain it is. So we had used this channel sampling method in Oman, where there was oxidized rocks, the alteration zone. We wanted to know the copper and gold values in alteration zone. Specifically, when you are in ophiolite sequence, lot of alterations happen. There is argillic alteration, there is epidot alteration, there are different type of alteration, and we wanted to know the base metal mineralization. It is associated with which type of alteration. So that's why we put these channels at many places, and we had sample at every 1 meter.
And what is the significance of smoky quartz?
Significance of smoky quartz, usually in precious metal exploration, the you will get a milky quartz, you will get different type of quartz, milky quartz, smoky quartz. But smoky quartz, the chances of getting gold, it is said that gold is high in smoky quartz. In milky quartz, you will not get gold, but in smoky quartz, you generally get the gold values, or there is some gold grains available within the smoky quartz.
And what are the soil sampling procedures? Can you please explain what is the soil A, B, C levels and B1,
Yes.
B2 levels, and how do you
Usually,
decide which area to sample and what horizon is the best for analyzing for gold exploration?
Sure. Soil sampling procedures are good in the area where there are outcrops are very, very less, very few, and you want to know, and you have from the previous maps or whatever certain few outcrops that there is some gold or base metal mineralization indication in that. and we want to know the extent of that gold and base metal mineralization. The soil sampling is good in the areas where there is in situ soil. Where there is a wind-blown sand, this soil sampling method is not good. So in situ soil, you generally around standard is that around 30 centimeter you dug a small hole, and you first clean the area where you want to take the soil sample. You remove the wind blown or some other sand, and then you dug around 30 centimeter hole, and on the bottom of the hole around we from take soil, we sieve it through 100 mesh, whatever size you require, and one should standardly one should do around 30 centimeter hole, 30 centimeter small pit to take the soil sample usually. So you will get a proper in situ soil sample from that.
How do you decide the location of the channel samples?
The channel samples are generally done on basic, once you have done reckonatory traverses or you have done some geological mapping with some grab sampling, you have noted the mineralization in certain part of the area, whether it can be, suppose there is a base metal, there will be some oxidation zones, there will be some alteration zones, there will be this type of indication we will get for base metal. But if suppose there is some other type of mineralization, so there will be some other indications. Then on the basis, once you have demarcated these indications in the map, okay, these are the indication, and on the grab sample you have found some values in lab. So on that basis, we decide that these are the particular location we should put a channel to know the extent of mineralization, to know the grade variation available within the grab sample.
Okay, excellent. I think this is a good talk. If there
Yeah.
are questions from the students, we can have
Sure,
a
sure.
video, or you can answer those questions on the YouTube comment also, if that's possible.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was Dr. Vivek Lal teaching his exploration techniques for students. If you have any comments or suggestions or questions, please write in the comment section below the video, and Dr. Lal or me or some other senior exploration geologist, we would endeavor to answer your questions and queries. And please do subscribe to the video and like the video. That gives us an encouragement to continue. Thank you so much. See you in the next series. Thank you.